So, good evening, T-Vine and Turkish Cypriot Community and Association. Thank you for inviting me here tonight and for taking an interest in politics. So, I'm honoured to be here this evening as the parliamentary candidate for the Conservative Party in Edmonton. And I hope that this demonstrates to the Turkish youth that we can aspire to anything as long as we put the work and effort into it. So I've been asked to give a brief background about myself. So my parents originate from Kökenli and Adayları. They came from Cyprus to the UK in 1960, during the political problems that started there. So I was born in the UK. I've got 3 older sisters and 2 younger brothers. I was very fortunate in my career, and I began work at the Bank of England as a clerk, and then I progressed through. Oops.
Signals available.
Technical glitch. So I worked my way up at the Bank of England. I've worked at Parliament and in the private and public sector. I also own my own business. I've got 4 children, 2 are quite young and 2 which are older, and have left education now. So I want to tell you why I came into politics, because I think all politicians start off with the best of intentions. None of us go into it for selfish reasons. So there were 2 main reasons, and the first one was that I couldn't get my daughter into our closest local secondary school. And I had to wait for months until she got to school. And so the unfairness of that policy admissions made me decide to become a governor at the school that she eventually got, to make a difference. So I've been a governor for 10 years, and I'm now chair of governors at this school, and it's an outstanding school. It's Ofsted 1, and it's a community school, non-selective. The second reason that I got into politics was because my brother died in 2008. He had a fantastic life, but he'd been born with heart problems. But the care provided by the NHS was just amazing, and I think the NHS is something that all Britain should be proud of. And I don't like that it's used a lot now in politics to blame people, because they do provide a fantastic service. So because of his passing made me realise that life is very short, and I wanted to make a difference, and to be the voice of people who haven't got a voice, who don't want to get into politics, don't want to...
Just to break the party lines, can I ask you to hand?
Thank you very much for inviting me here and giving us the chance to speak to the Turkish community. I'm an immigrant. I moved to the UK in '97. I have Kurdish and Turkish heritage, and I have my parents live in Germany. I have relatives in Switzerland, in France, in Netherlands. So I have a wide perspective of the experiences of immigrants in new communities. And what I can say is that the UK is the most liberal country in the world, I think. And for me, this is really important because I felt at home as soon as I arrived here. And in a very short period, I was able to become a member of this community. I was given the chances of every member of the society. I am now running for the parliament, and this is not the case, for example, in Germany. My parents have lived there for 40 years. Only recently they got their chance to be able to vote for the services, for the people who will provide the services that they have been paying tax for 40 years. It is also important to recognize the contribution that the immigrants are making to this country. We have the best football league, we have in our galleries, in our theatres, we have the best artists in our universities, we have the world's best scientists. It's like a magnet. When you are successful, you attract the best people, and this is like a chicken egg situation. The success breeds immigration, immigration breeds more success. Throughout history, this has been the case. Whenever a country has succeeded, this has taken place. And whenever things go wrong, those who are leading the country, who are not able to offer a vision, offer a solution, tend to pick up on the most vulnerable in the society, those who don't have a voice, those who are not represented. And unfortunately, we are seeing a rise of that in the UK at the moment. Immigrants are blamed for everything. EU is blamed for everything because they don't have the representation here. And we see now catastrophic consequences of this. People are drowning in the Mediterranean. We are all immigrants ourselves, so we have less prejudice. We can be more sympathetic to these people. The rest of the country, for people, the immigrants might be just the other person. So it is normal that they don't sympathize as much as we do. And unfortunately, this immigration problem cannot be solved by just one country. It has to be international. We should put some effort into it, stabilize those countries and help them to get economically better. And this can be only done through EU level. We are also talking about the security. There is a lot of talk of defense throughout this discourse of the election. Now we know there is a threat from Russia. They are trying to take over the countries that are free and establish the old Soviet Union. The only way to deal with him without a big loss of lives is put economic sanctions. But only UK cannot put economic sanctions on him.
So can I take you back to the question? In terms of your involvement in politics, why did you get involved in politics and why are you supporting the party you are supporting?
Sure.
And has your selection been easy, difficult?
Okay. The point that I'm trying to make is that being a strong voice in the European Union gives us the power to deal with our challenges in the world. And immigrants are not problems, they are actually helping us to get better. We have to celebrate this, and the party that has done this through thick and thin at the expense of losing, for example, we were 11 MEPs, now we are 10, and we are still continuing with this stance, is Liberal Democrats. The reason that I joined Liberal Democrats is their commitment to the values of liberalism, decency, fairness, and openness. In 2007 I joined Liberal Democrats, and I established Friends of Turkey group there. I joined the platform Ethnic Minority Liberal Democrats, which is championing for equality and chances, opportunity for everyone. When I joined the party, I was assigned a mentor. The mentor kept pushing me to do things, to progress, pushed me to speak at the party conferences. Whenever I was reluctant, she was pushing me to put forward my candidacy for European elections. Twice I was a candidate for local elections. I ran for the European elections last year, and now I want to represent Tottenham because Tottenham is a diverse, a very beautiful example of diversity, and it deserves a better representation. Unfortunately, it is not represented very well at the moment. The local MP is not standing up for the concerns of the people, and the local council is not is being cynical with the sacrifices that everybody has been. We had a bad economic situation, and everybody had to make sacrifices. But the council passed this on to the most vulnerable in Haringey. We need a strong opposition in Haringey, so that people, when they are not able to resolve their problems with the incumbents, with the Labour Party, they have another door to go to knock on, and to raise their concerns.
Okay, I think your time is up. I'm sorry I didn't warn you. Okay, Isabel.
Thanks. I'll definitely follow your orders and the questions. Okay, short background about myself, but before I start, I think it's, I didn't know about a month ago that there were other Turkish candidates, especially a Tory one, even though I met this lady at some event, but I didn't know she was one of the candidates. I only found it through the Conservative Friends of Turkey, the guy who runs it, and then I said, oh, there are other, and I was kind of interested how exciting that there are, other Turkish representatives. So I always thought, well, I've got this perception, you don't really sort of show interest getting involved in politics. So I am excited to be here, to be talking to you, and also tell you about myself, how I got involved in politics, and maybe inspire some of you guys to get involved in whatever way you could. So, go back to my list of questions now. So I am from Turkey. a city called Kahramanmaraş, if you want to know exactly. It's in Afshin, Yeşil Territory. So I came to the UK in 1989. My parents, obviously economic migrants, they came here to give their children the best start in life. Lived in North London for a while, actually Tottenham, off St Anne's Road. That was my parents lived for a while. Then I lived in Austria in Hampstead before moving to Hertford, where I currently live. Before that I lived in Germany as part of my studies, so finally settled in just outside London. I went to school in London, college in Barnet, and I went to university in Bedford and Middlesex to do my master's. Currently I'm a town councillor. I was elected back in 2011, and I also chair the Development of Leisure Committee for the Council, which has a budget of, for a small town, about £500,000, and then we spend it on a programme of events promoting the town and also preserving the sort of heritage of the town, because it's a quite sort of old market town through the planning system. Also linked to that, what I discovered after the elections, where there were lots of focus on the sort of shops, the high streets, but there are lots of entrepreneurs that people don't really sort of see. They don't have a shop window, they don't...
So I'm a parliamentary candidate in Old Beggsy and Sidcup for the Labour Party. I'm a university graduate. I studied law at the University of Essex, and that's where I started to get a grasp of politics for the first time, working with the Students' Union. After my law degree, I became the president of the Students' Union, which was one of the first Turkish Cypriot presidents in the country. And that was by working with students from all different types of backgrounds, Turkish Cypriots, Greek Cypriots, Turkish, whatever their background might be. And that was sort of the formulation of my politics from there. I went to Malta, I worked for a couple of years with some international charities. When the Libyan uprising happened, I was quite instrumental in working with the Maltese government to create some sort of humanitarian aid programme within Malta, working with the Prime Minister as well. I spoke on national TV with the Prime Minister. Then I came back to the UK, started working at university. I found myself in the home of the Labour Party. The other question was, why the Labour Party? I think, for me, my household has always been quite left-leaning, but more so is because I do believe firmly in the trade union movement. But also, ethnic minorities, and that includes Turkish Cypriots and those of Turkish origin, have always found a home in the Labour Party, and this is seen through the amount of MPs we've got from BME backgrounds. We are the most in Parliament compared to any other, I know other parliamentary parties are trying to achieve what the Labour Party have done. But it's also about that bigger question of, even though I am a Turkish Cypriot candidate, when I knock on the small Turkish Cypriot community that is in Bexley, the issues that they face aren't necessarily monopolised or adhere just to them. It's actually diversifies into a more class issue, because being a BME person in the UK has class elements. And I think that's what drew me to it, because the same issue you face as being an ethnic minority in the country is the same issue you face as being in a certain class in the country as well. So that's immediately drew me in. And the selection process was quite exciting, because I was going to be the first, BME or minority candidate for that, for maybe that borough, but I think more so for the actual constituency that I'm standing for. And I'm now the first ever Turkish Cypriot candidate in Borough Bexley for Parliament and for the constituency seat. The seat itself, the Labour Party is very proud, because it's probably one of the most democratic ways of selecting a candidate. I had to speak to over 200 members, going and knocking on their door, having a lot of cup of teas, a lot of cake. I had to refuse on some occasions, but obviously sometimes it was nice. But it was about making sure that they knew exactly who their candidate was. And I think that is what the troubling thing is with politics going forward now as well, when it comes to selection.